Hello and welcome back. This is Gamer Ryan, and today we're looking at the new update patch for Dota Underlords. We've got a mid-season gameplay update. There's a few update fixes here, so extra add-ons from this actual update just to fix those extra bugs they found. But we'll go through the general area here. So the rewards has gone up. Okay, so for the Battle Pass XP, it's kind of gone up a little bit more, which is great because it was taking so long to get absolutely anywhere. They've also fixed some CPU utilization on the Mac OS, which is great because I also play on my MacBook and it does really kick off when I open this, and it really ought not to. So it'll be good to see if I notice a difference personally with this. We've got the loadout finally. We can find the loadout by clicking on the chest here, and we can actually select what we've got here. So, as you can see, I've got a few extra bits and bobs here, which is going to be great, and you'll be able to see that in the gameplay video next. We have also increased all of these, which is great. Mobile improvements, not bothered about that. And we've got some great stuff here. So combat persists while some abilities complete their attacks. So when they're doing I'm guessing like a timed ability, that they can still be attacked, or I can only imagine that's what's happened here. Assassins that have an enemy in their attack range will attack instead of jumping. So yeah, that was always a thing when they would just always jump. They did, or I say teleport, because that's pretty much what they do, don't they? But yeah, so instead of jumping, they'll actually attack them, which is good. And there is now a notification when someone completes their win streak. I thought that we always had one, and didn't know we needed to do that. You won't see heroes from the previous shop whenever you re-roll the shop. Well, that's interesting. And I thought, it's all about RNG, isn't it? I think this is going to make it a lot easier for us to kind of level up and do what we want to do. If we can say, oh yeah, there's no tiny on that page, well, I know there's more of a chance of being a tiny on the next page. So the probability, I'm not quite sure how that is. So look, the Warlock Alliance is now targets the lowest percentage. Lowest health percent and not the lowest health value. Yeah, that's good. And they've buffed, he's nerfed him. They've nerfed the lifesteal for the Warlocks. The Troll, tier 1 represents 10% attack speed for bonus at all allies. Good, because it was only on tier 4, or there's tier 2, so when you got 4 different Trolls on there, that you would only get the allied buff. But now we can see that we get 10% just for the 2 Trolls, which is great. We've got these guys have been nerfed as well, the Knight Alliance, and they were ridiculously strong, so I was kind of glad they did that. Bloodbound Alliance extra damage changed from 100% to 125%, good, because that wasn't great. There was no point getting a Bloodbound Alliance. The Heartless Alliance, and we've changed that from minus 20 armor down to minus 15 armor. So when you get the Heartless Alliance, the enemy armor gets reduced 5, 10, 20, but now it's 5, 10, 15. That'd be interesting to see how they are, because it was, I don't know. Primordial Alliance also has a 10% chance to disarm range attackers for 4 seconds. Cool. So they've got an extra thing going on there, which is cool. So looks like they've got big changes to the Scrappy Alliance. So it now takes 2 units per level. Okay, so it was 3. So level 1, a random scrap unit is granted 9 armor and 8 HP regen. All scrap units again 9 armor and 8 HP, and then all allies. Okay, cool. So to get the full benefit from the Scrappy Alliance, you only need 4. You need 4 Scrappy heroes, but if you want it to apply to all of our allies, which can be really good, you're gonna need 6. Armor and HP are doubled if you start the fight with less units than your opponent is changed to. Armor and HP are doubled whenever you have fewer units alive than your opponent does. Wonder why they've said less units there rather fewer units there. It should have been fewer units than your opponent. That's interesting. So if you're losing or you're getting your ass kicked, then this buff will kick in. So Scrappy are quite strong now. We definitely need to check that out. Hero changes. Abaddon, he's had a good old buff. Yeah, he was awful, wasn't he? So it'd be interesting to see how often we see him. Again, attack damage changed from 220 to 264. Wow, that's great. And his shield has again been buffed to take more. Arc Warden, yeah. Enigma, we've not really used Enigma, don't really know about it. I'm glad that does more damage, because that was nothing. The Kunkka, he does his like ghost chip, like AoE type damage. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It was just, did nothing. but they've nerfed it. Are you joking? It was absolutely shocking. I don't know why they've done that. I've lost our page. Here we go. Titan, no techies, sniper, Sand King's had a big rework. Razor. So we've got Queen of Pain. She's got armor now, which is good. So Razor's been nerfed. He was really strong. His AoE was ridiculous. Attack damage, maximum charge layer, plasma field. Max damage changed from 250 to 150. Yeah, good, because he was ridiculous. Sand King, he's been buffed massively, good, because he was pretty rubbish, to be fair. Gold cost changed from 3 to 4. Draft tier changed from 3. Oh, so he's actually been moved up he's moved up a tier, and we can see Razor's actually come down, which is, I guess that kind of matches with that, doesn't it? Who else did we? Anyone important we miss up here? Yeah, we missed a few. Let's carry on back up to the top, and we've got Spirit Bear, it's a lone druid summon. That's fine. Lycan, he's had a buff, so max health changed from attack damage is a minimum. Again, that's been buffed, so he's stronger, so he's stronger. Summoned wolves now have phased movement and can run through other units. That's interesting. So rather than moving around the board, they can potentially get to their attack-y much faster. Medusa, she's been leveled up, that's fine. Modifier changed from 40% to 20%. Extra shots changed from 2 to 2, 3, 4. Cool, so it goes up sporadically, which is good really, because she didn't really get much of a benefit from leveling her up. Mirana, been nerfed by the looks of this on her maximum mana. Okay, that's kind of good though, right? Because then that will level up faster. Attack damage from 55. Yeah, so she's been outdoors. She's had a buff applied, which is great. He's been nerfed by the looks of it. Waveform, yeah, he has. That's a shame, because he was really ideal. But now it's an interesting looking at these. Just skimming through, they've got huge difference going in. Razor, yeah, we spoke about Razor. We're glad that happened. Shadow Fiend, attack damage minimum change from. So he's actually had a buff. Now that's surprising, because he was really strong. Like, he was a good go-to for AoE damage. Similarly, Slark at level 3, he's had a great buff as well. He's going to be next level. Sniper, I'm glad Sniper's had a buff. He's looking much stronger. Perhaps he could have done with being a tier higher though, looking at these stats. The Terrorblade, I didn't really rate the Terrorblade, but you can see they've had a buff. It looks like there's been a lot more balancing going on, and everything that we wanted has kind of happened. I mean, he's gone from a tier 1 to now a tier 3, so it's going to be really difficult to max out the inventors, because it's difficult enough to get 4 as it is, but now Tinker's been up to a level 3, you're going to you're going to be working towards that sword dude, I forget his name. So he's had his health buffed, damage buffed, well you should hope so, because he's gone up 2 tiers, and his cooldown changed. Oh wow, okay, that's ridiculous. Heat-seeking missile at level 3, 0.5. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Let's have a look. He's been buffed, which is good. Oh, he's been tiered up. That's not too bad. From 3 to 1 his radius. Okay, yeah, he did, because he had a leech seed, didn't he? Expires when the target dies. Well, of course it does. That's the whole point, right? And anyone else that we're really interested in? No one particularly. And Wind Ranger looks like they've had a buff. Draft tier change from 3 to 2. Oh, she's been moved down and been buffed, which is great. Okay, item changes. Each player can have alliance items appear at different tiers. For example, player A could be offered Strange Bedfellows at tier 1, where it would provide a 30% bonus, while player B could be offered Strange Bedfellows at tier 3, where it would provide a 50% bonus. Okay, cool. So it kind of stacks. So depending on what tier you're at on the loot stage, you can still have these global items, but they scale up with your level. So, you know, something on tier 1 which would offer a 10% buff, at tier 5 it would offer like a 50% buff, or something along that. In the same game, player A could be offered elusive targets. At tier 1 with a duration of 2 seconds. Yeah, exactly. And so alliance items change. I'm not going to run through all of these, because as you can see there's an awful lot going here, so you can pause the video and have a look through yourself. But looking at this, I'm thinking that one that stands out for me is elusive targets. Invisibility changed to 100% evasion for 2, 3, and 4 seconds. If you remember, it was only in particular. I think it was 3 seconds, or it might have even just been 4 seconds at the start of a round, regardless of the tier. So now it's obviously looking like it's scaling with the tiers. And another thing that really kind of like stands out to me is, where is it? I just saw it. Yeah, the Age of Chivalry. Damage reduction for both physical and magical damage changed from -10 to -7, -10, -12.5 per adjacent knight. So it's, in a way, it's been buffed at its highest tier, where it was -10 to 12.5. So that's an interesting one. Let's have a look. Maelstrom. So they've changed some tiers of the big ones. Anything here that's Recruiter changed from first free roll is free to re-rolls now cost 1 gold. That's a good one. Very good. It's definitely worth it, especially towards the end game. Having a cheaper re-roll, I'd much rather have a 1 gold re-roll than a 1 free one, then carry on with a 2. Because after the second one, you've spent the same anyways. High class of criminal. Yep, and okay, loot rounds. They've debuffed these monsters. They've nerfed them. They've made them easier to kill. Some of them were difficult depending on what kind of build you had, but generally it wasn't too bad. It's not something that I particularly struggle with too much. So the fact that they've nerfed them, it's obvious that some people were really struggling. So the small Mega Assassin units, allied Mega Assassins have 20%. Okay. There was Tomato. I don't know Tomato and Potato. Oh, that was the bear round, wasn't it? From 0. So he's had a buff, and he's had a buff. Okay, Tomato and Potato now have Mega Bloodbound Alliance keyword. Mega Bloodbound 2 units. Whenever an allied Mega Bloodbound unit dies, the other Mega Bloodbound gets 500% damage. Wow. So I'm pretty sure it's the bear ones. They've had some serious buffage going on, which is fair enough, because some actually it was more difficult to kill the wolves or even the golems than it was that bear round there. Okay, so these Wild Wing hatchlings have been nerfed. They're a Mega Elusive Alliance. So they're getting these Mega Alliances in, which is interesting. I wonder if anything like that will be available to us players later on. Got Thunderhind, and now has 100 mana and casts Bloodlust. Attack damage again, so these guys have been buffed, which is interesting. The Dragon, splash attack nowadays was 100% splash damage. Black Dragon now has Mega Scaled Alliance, a keyword, Mega Scaled, so 1 unit, obviously, because he's on his own. Allied units get 70%, so he's basically got a 75% magic resistance. Okay, these Trolls look like they've been buffed. So it's getting these, making it significantly harder to get these higher tiers. Because now they've changed it, so instead of, if you lose a loot round, instead of it choosing 2 random items you can't have, it actually gives you a free selection of all items available, but for 1 tier lower, which is quite interesting. And then I've never got as far as 45 or 50, so that's interesting, but it looks like they've had a buff themselves as well. Roshan is now spell immune. Damn. So can we assume then if you get to round 50 that you're not going to be having any mages or whatever, warlocks? So that's it for this patch, and this was released on the weekend of the 17th, 18th and 19th of July. I think it's a good one actually, and I think it's very beneficial, because without these changes it was getting very stale and it wasn't 100% balanced, or nowhere near as balanced as what it could be. So for that I am happy. Now hopefully it means we can put some of this new knowledge into practice. I definitely want to try out a scrappy build now, and that's something I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to stop this video here. Thanks for watching. If you did like it, give us a comment in the comment section, leave a like, and of course feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching. My name's Gamer Ryan.